After trying for a couple of hours, Mr. Okoro finally picked up the phone. As Dr. Adewale was about speaking, the phone hung up. Then after several tries again, Mr. Okoro picks up the phone and was silent. Dr. Adewale, trying to remain calm, asked for his current location without giving any hint that they knew who he was. The investigator gestured for Dr. Adewale to stay calm and manipulatively ask for his whereabouts. Mr. Okoro, where are you now? I need to discuss something important with you, Adewale said, trying to keep his voice steady. I'm on my way to the school, sir, Mr. Okoro replied, his tone guarded. Can you tell me exactly where you are? I might need you to run an errand for me, Adewale continued, trying to sound casual. There was a brief pause. I'm almost at the school, sir. Is everything all right? Mr. Okoro asked, his voice tinged with suspicion. Yes, everything is fine. I just need you to pick up some documents for me on your way back, Adewale said, hoping to keep the conversation going. But Mr. Okoro abruptly hung up the phone. They called back, but he didn't pick up. It was evident he already knew what was happening. Panic set in as they called the school, only to be told that Mr. Okoro and Adewale's son had not arrived. They had to report to the station immediately, and the boy's picture was pasted everywhere. His mother had been in deep sorrow and tears ever since she heard what happened. How could her only child be missing? They searched all of Mr. Okoro's belongings and found some disturbing items, a gun, pictures of Dr. Adewale and his wife from years ago, and files of pictures with the missing persons in them. How could he have been living a double life right under our noses? Dr. Adewale's wife sobbed, clutching a photograph of their son. Then she began to wail so loud sympathizers surrounded her, empathizing with her. We'll find him. I promise, Dr. Adewale said, trying to comfort her while feeling the weight of his own guilt and fear. The police later revealed that they would contact the military for help since Mr. Okoro was once in the military. Days later, the military revealed that Mr. Okoro was a decorated officer before he retired to business. He had a wealthy wife he fell in love with. She was his everything and his son. She was the reason he left the military to become a civilian. His wife died giving birth to his son, who was the only thing that reminded him of her. A couple of days later, the private investigator reached out to Dr. Adewale. There's something I missed, he said. Mr. Okoro's son died on March 23rd. All the kidnappings happened before March, and your son was the last person kidnapped on the list, which was on the 17th of March. I believe Mr. Okoro will soon call because something significant might happen on the 23rd of March. Dr. Adewale began thinking deeply. What would he do if Mr. Okoro truly called? Did he have money for ransom? But as usual, he decided not to tell his wife. The next day, Mr. Okoro called as predicted. He told Dr. Adewale to come to a location in Oyo State. He also said he would kill his son and the other kidnapped people if he came with the police. Dr. Adewale, you must come alone. If I see any police, your son and the others will die, Mr. Okoro's voice was cold and determined. Please, Mr. Okoro, don't harm them. I'll come alone. Just tell me where to meet you, Adewale pleaded, his heart pounding. That is not my name. If you call me that one more time, you will see my rat on your child's body right now, said Mr. Okoro. After the call, Dr. Adewale contacted his investigator. He called. He wants me to come to a rural location in Oyo State alone. What should I do? The investigator replied, since the other kidnapped people are alive, that's good news. But it also means Mr. Okoro won't be working alone, so you have to be careful. It will take more than one person to kidnap over 3 people and still keep them alive. There's also a chance he might want to end everything on the same day his son died, which is on the 23rd of March. What should I do? Dr. Adewale asked, desperation in his voice. We'll put a tracker on you just in case, but you can't tell the police. Mr. Okoro is a former trained military officer. We have to be cautious, the investigator advised. Dr. Adewale decided to drive to another state. He told his wife he had a lead and that was all. Before leaving, he recorded a video message for her. "My love, if you're watching this, it means I didn't make it back. I have to go alone to get our son. I can't risk anyone else's life. I love you more than words can say, and I'm sorry for all the pain this has caused. Please be strong for our son. They say when one has a good wife, it is as if God gave him a flower. But with you, I had a garden of them. I love you with my heart, body, and soul. But I have to take this burden upon myself. Goodbye, my love." As he drove, Dr. Adewale kept thinking about how his life had come to this point. At times, he wanted to turn back, but he imagined his son's life was more important. Different thoughts entered his head, but he pressed on. When he arrived at the designated location in Oyo State, his heart started pounding. It was midnight, and the area was eerily quiet. He dimmed his car light as he started having second thoughts. The place seemed to be like an abandoned building, and he kept thinking to himself if today would be his last day on earth. Suddenly, there was a knock on his car window. He turned to see a gun pointed at him. "Step out of the car," a voice commanded. "Watch out for part 3.